some changes coming to Miami. Just not the ones that anyone thought. The Miami Dolphins, fresh off of getting the tar beat out of them on Thursday Night Football, are making a change. Just not the one we thought, as the Miami Dolphins have parted ways with General Manager Chris Grier. This one coming from the team. They have announced this one. The decision, I'm reading this off of the score, so shout out to them. The decision comes after Thursday's 28-6 loss to the Baltimore Ravens, dropped the team to a 2-7 start. Grier had been with the Dolphins since 2000, taking over as GM in 2016. It is quite the case study in Miami, because a couple of years ago, this looked like a juggernaut, right? Where you have this offensive guru taking over as head coach. You have a quarterback that at the time everyone had tanked for. Tank for Tua was a thing. Last college year didn't necessarily go the way he wanted it to, and it's kind of hasn't gotten a lot better since then. But you get that. Tyreek Hill, for awful reasons, falls out of favor in Kansas City. The Dolphins come in and pick him up. It is a team that is built off of speed and excellence on the offensive side, with a really, really good defensive unit as well. This was a complete, talented football team. Then they get a couple of injuries on the defensive side. It falls apart entirely. It is very apparent that this team can only win in nice weather, and everything falls apart from there. Right, like they were a really, really dangerous looking football team until a couple of injuries on defense. They couldn't get the stops they needed. They fell out of top spot in their division. They fell out of a home playoff game at all. They had to go into a cold weather stadium in the playoffs and just got boat raced out of there, and nothing was the same since then. Tua keeps getting hurt, and the offensive play calling, one way or another, people figured it out, and it fell apart. It is a fascinating, fascinating study how a team looks like they can be so dominant, and then everything kind of goes wrong, and it shows that maybe it was a bit more of a house of cards to begin with. So a very, very fascinating tale out in Miami. The timing of it, also interesting, as the trade deadline is in 5 days. And I would say this is a Miami team that could be in need of a bit of a facelift, but you're also not bringing an interim GM in to make that kind of a move as well. I don't know where Miami goes from here, because you look at it, there are pieces I really like on this team. Jalen Waddle has a big game for Crash in the Vampire League. I think he is a really good receiver. Achan is incredibly talented as a speed back. And I think they have something in Ollie Gordon as well, as a little bit more of a between the tackles sort of a fellow. And there are some talented pieces on the defensive side, but that area has been a disaster for this football team this year. We went through it yesterday. They were coming into the game 22nd in defensive EPA per, oh no, that's on offense. 29th in defensive EPA per play, 28th in success rate. It's been an unmitigated disaster on the defensive side of the ball. And you have the Tua conversation where, like, for obvious reasons, he is not someone who wants to get hit a lot. Like that, and you can understand it when you do the zombie arms on national television and every hit kind of leads to some not great things. I, too, would want to whip the ball out of there as quickly as possible. But that's not really how this offense should work. And it's not how it worked before. Like, Tua's deep balls were behind Tyreek Hill a lot, but he was so far ahead of defenders that you could underthrow him. He could still come back and still make a play. This offense was built on those big plays, and it's really hard to do that when you are getting the ball out in like 2 seconds and still going into training camp saying, yeah, we got to get the ball out quicker. Got to get the ball out quicker. Like they are forced to play call like they are afraid of their quarterback because of the situation that their quarterback is in right now. So I still think there's a really good offensive mind there in Michael McDaniels, the head coach of the Dolphins. I am surprised that a head coach whose team on offense does struggle the way they do. Again, 29th in success rate on offense, 22nd in EPA per play. When you're the offensive guy and your offense is that bad, it's tough to bounce back as a coach. But apparently he's getting at least a stay of execution for now. But I'm interested to see what the next steps are with this football team, because there is a bit of a foundation built, but you don't love the quarterback. And from all accounts, I haven't done a deep dive into it yet. You don't love a lot of the quarterbacks that are coming out in the draft this year. Like, this doesn't seem like it is a big quarterback year. It seems like there's a lot of quarterbacks. It just doesn't seem like there's that high-end guy. But, I mean, that could change as we approach playoff time in the college football world. But that the answer isn't obvious at quarterback. And the answers that they thought they had on the defensive side certainly aren't as present anymore. So, interesting decision, and interesting to see the direction now of the Dolphins as this season rolls on. So, yeah, a little surprised to see that news today, quite frankly. But a reminder, we're streaming these live on a few different platforms, including Twitch, twitch.tv/primetimepk. The live stream schedule next week is a stay tuned one. I know I'm going to be on Sportsnet 960 The Fan in Calgary Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Don't know about the early part of the week just yet. A lot of that depends on what the Blue Jays do in the next couple of days here. Oh, thank you very much for the follow, Nemo Peak. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. A lot of that depends on what the Blue Jays do. So I don't know what the schedule is going to be, but keep it locked on my social medias, and just hit the follow button on Twitch so you know when we're going to go live. Or if you are watching this on YouTube, just hit that notification bell, and you'll find out when we go live here on Couch Potato Diary.